You sit at your desk in your cubicle, your office, your building. You spend the majority of every weekday here performing menial tasks that ultimately have so little meaning they aren't even worth getting into. The endless monotony has ground your will down to a fine powder. Despite your brain running on autopilot, you can't bring yourself to imagine the countless other things you'd rather be doing, because that requires effort you're incapable of mustering. Instead, you think of nothing. Your mind is empty, exhausted, bored, excruciatingly underwhelmed. But today, you look up. Those floor-to-ceiling windows have existed since you started working here. Back then, the view of the expansive city before you had some novelty. There was a childlike excitement at how high up you were, but now, worn by routine, you take it for granted. You half-consciously count the hours, minutes, seconds until lunch. You elect to take it on the roof. Tell yourself whatever's necessary to justify the comparatively adventurous choice. Fresh air, peace and quiet, absence of the social annoyances that plague the break room. The wind chills your skin, wakes you. Your mind feels clear, your senses renewed. The change fuels a sudden, unexpected confidence, compelling you to approach the edge, to glimpse over the thrilling precipice. It's high, higher than you thought, without the glass barrier separating you and hundreds of meters of empty air. Your head spins, a blunt reminder of your mortality. But you stand facing down, watching the world pass below, waiting for what you couldn't say. Something stirs within you. You have no desire to jump, to suffer, certainly not to die. If you did, you would have done so already. But standing here, an inkling of a thought fires through your mind, a chance to peel away from the monotony, to break the mind-numbing routine of your everyday existence in the most drastic fashion imaginable. For all the time you've worked here, for every day you've sat zombified at your desk, this rooftop, this edge into the unknown, has always been here, waiting. In that moment, something takes over. Autopilot, the same that pushes you through your daily schedule. But here it provides an almost imperceptible twitch in your muscles, small enough you don't even realize you've moved until the consequences become clear. There's no leap, no step into something new and forbidden, no bounding embrace into the unknown. In fact, you slip. It's clumsy, awkward. You instinctively know it's too late, but still flounder to regain your balance, even as your weight betrays you and you topple. You spin, hoping to catch the ledge, but only encourage gravity's grip, and without hesitation, it claims you. They say time slows when plummeting to certain doom, but your life doesn't flash before your eyes, nor do you regret making the decision to jump because it wasn't intentional, at least not consciously. Yet, you were driven by some deeper compulsion. Now, concrete screaming up towards you. You have no fear, no rethinking of your life, not even regret that it happened. All you can do is regret how it happened. What kind of idiot just slips? Your commute home is always uneventful. This time, on this unremarkable evening, you opt for silence. No radio, music, podcast, audiobook, only the drone of the vehicle around you, the muted sound of traffic, pedestrians, and the outside world. With time and draining focus, you discover a newfound awareness of the steering wheel against your palms, the pedals resisting beneath your feet, the rumble of rubber against asphalt. You breathe with the motion of driving, a series of complex movements that culminate in moving you from A to B at considerable speed. You've driven countless times throughout your life. It no longer bears conscious thought. It's beyond second nature, like breathing or sleeping. It simply happens while you distract yourself long enough for it to be over. Now you feel every slight response in the steering wheel's give, every rev of the accelerator, squeak of the brake. It's a strange sensation, suddenly too aware of your subconscious's usual duties. And the speed is no different. The force with which you propel your fragile body is unnatural, alarming. Yet, this vehicle operates under your whims. There are safety laws to obey, of course, but even within those restrictions, you're able to fly across the roads. Normally, you not only ignore the danger of this exhilarating speed, but it's largely the most boring part of your day. But with renewed awareness of your control over this great steel and plastic beast, you're suddenly flooded with debilitating urgency. You have been entrusted with overwhelming power. the same as every other driver you see behind their wheels. You've all taken a silent oath that you collectively agreed to uphold the moment you climbed into those driver's seats. And just as you share that power, you share the power to break that mutual trust. Vehicular collisions occur all the time, but how often are they fully intentional? How often is that trust explicitly broken? There's no reason to, without ideations of self or external harm. There's also maybe a morbid curiosity, but you know what would happen. Unprecedented destruction, injury, perhaps fatality to all involved. Consequences if survival occurs. And yet, an untamable urge rises. Not to be taken seriously, of course, yet it lingers. You tighten your grip on the wheel, push your foot, the speed climbs. Immense power. All it takes to exercise that power, to prove to yourself and the world that you still hold it, that you've maintained the trust for all these years, and subsequently show them that you exist, is a simple turn. You do it all the time. It's the easiest thing in the world. Headlights passing in the opposite lane burn your retinas, leave trails in your vision. You'd never do it, but you know you can. Maybe that's enough. You keep to your oath, maintain the trust, responsibly wield your power. But so does everyone else, and to you, they don't exist. One simple turn, an uncontrollable urge, so small, so easy you don't even feel conscious of the movement, as if your muscles take control microseconds before your brain makes any decision. You do exist. They say walking is an effective way to clear the head. No destination, no point other than the act itself, to walk. And it's true. It's nice, meditative, to focus solely on your steps, one after the other. To take in the city around you, notice what you normally don't. Beautiful buildings, enticing establishments, appealing architecture, all of which you'd normally head down and ears plugged, walk straight past. With enough time and focus, you notice the less savoury aspects of the city as well. Fresh air is a concept long abandoned in the urban sprawl. The impossibility of peaceful silence anywhere public, regardless of time of day. Most disturbingly, the confirmation that every person you pass lives their own life without consideration or regard for yours. You can embrace this fact. The sounds of their footsteps, their murmured or pronounced conversations, their tasks and routines irrelevant to yours, their busy presence filling your eyeline, all merge to demonstrate the city's ability to feel like a massive, living, breathing entity. It helps you relax, to process the external clamour as something you exist within, one small part of the whole. This mindset allows for peace amongst the chaos, until it doesn't. Until one fraction of the whole climbs above the rest, forgets to look where they're walking, and rudely collides with you, obnoxiously calls out obscenities without regard for their surroundings, plays their crude music too loudly, ignoring the unwilling ears forced to listen to tinny speakers blaring unwanted garbage. It can be as small as a silently judgmental glance in your direction. No matter how it happens, your attempt to walk the streets through this appreciative lens has been inevitably ruined. The urge bubbles. The silent inner voice screams, reminding you that not all tools of immense power are huge, lumbering, complex machines. Some are small, portable, easily handled, as prominent and accessible as a meal. You aren't an irrational, violent, or hateful person, would never willingly bring harm to another human being, nor derive any pleasure or joy from their torment. Nor would you ever willingly harm yourself, having no desire to inhibit or end your own life, even with the temptation to so instantaneously negate having to be around these people by removing yourself from the equation. But sometimes exceptions can be made. An impatient, selfish bump into you, the resulting insult impatiently uttered towards you. In a single instant, the urge grows, fills you, threatens to erupt like a volcano, and before you can process the actions, your mind shuts down, enters a dazed, waking dream state, and your body takes over. Against all better judgment and instinct, there are occasions where simple human connection can be sought out. You meet at the prearranged time and place. Staring into their eyes, you're reminded of the ease with which one can witness another human being in all their magical complexities before anxious awkwardness takes over and you look away. It's easy to look away, across the room, down at your phone, up at the empty void, anywhere. But conversation must occur. The social contract demands it, and the dregs of confidence you still maintain dwindle with your constant desire to say the right thing. There are no painful pauses or overly awkward silences, but some part of you remains on constant alert, funneling every possible response through the correct filter of this specific context. How smart will this sound? How funny will this be? How involved, attentive, sincere, or humiliating, harmful, pretentious will your next considered phrase prove? Because you will compare every word and reaction to the image you have of yourself, the you present to the outside world, the picture of you everyone else sees you as. You have a reputation to uphold, so uphold it. Never fail. Never ease the filter. Never allow the dam to break. But deeper within, there is a quiet intent lurking. Some sliver of your buried will begs to drop the facade for a moment, to let something seep through your mental sieve to conjure authenticity. You don't want to offend, vomit out the words, or force a reaction for its own sake. You simply desire nothing more than to break through the mindless small talk, bullshit expectations, pre-programmed responses of thoughtless interactions, move beyond the enslavement of your usual endless filters. You could blurt out something entirely unrelated and bizarre, admit some dark secret you've never shared with another living soul, offer unprompted expletives just to shock, offend, even hurt your conversational companion because a negative reaction acknowledges that they felt something. And if they feel something, then maybe you can too. And so, unload. No thought behind your next response, no plan, no filter, no dam holding back ideas. And you convulse out the words, admitting that you play video games because reality is insufferable, that you do unsavory, unhealthy, unspeakable things in games because you could never do them in real life, even if you wanted to. But you don't really want to, because while the thought of leaping off a skyscraper, or ramming your car into oncoming traffic, or blowing yours and your neighbour's brains all over the pavement might briefly offer temptation as they flicker through your mind, you recognise such urges as illogical and unwelcome, with no real merit or desire. It's one of the reasons video games offer such an appealing escape, allowing you to explore and follow those urges. Let the intrusive thoughts win for once, because in the virtual world, there are no consequences for the real you following these sudden dark desires. It's what you would say. Maybe you should, but you won't. To admit such contemplations would be to follow just another intrusive line of thinking. You won't tell this virtual character because they can't hear you. You won't tell anyone in real life because the filters won't allow it. But you can tell a camera. You can make a stupid video, put that video on the internet, tell anyone who stumbles upon and has the compulsion to watch it. Because who better than the nameless, faceless audience of internet ghosts you'll never truly interact with beyond a screen to listen to your faux intellectual ramblings about mental health and video games? Meanwhile, your companion has been unloading themselves, while you've been too absorbed in your own self-important musings to register a single word they've said. Soon, they'll expect your response. Soon, you should provide one that is deeply honest, vulnerable, and mildly profound. Instead, just this once, you let the intrusive thought win, opting for the easy initial approach of shock and offence. I need a side of fill it with because I'm a who needs every day or I'll die so legs and your satisfaction is indescribably incredible, entirely, undoubtedly worth it.
I shouldn't drop bombs like that on you.